going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Me and my old man in a movie. I'm Gan, this is my dad Ryan, and today we're going to be reviewing Weapons. Alright, before we get started, I'd like to read a brief synopsis on the film. When all but one child from the same classroom mysteriously vanish on the same night at exactly the same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance.
That's all they give you.
That's all they give you. And you definitely want to go into this movie as blind as possible.
Yeah.
Definitely go in as blind as possible. No spoilers.
No, we're not going to give you any spoilers today.
So first we're going to give our initial thoughts on the film. Then we're going to go into our Blockbuster Trio, which is 3 things that we liked about it. The cutting room floor, which is anything that we would change. And then we're going to give it a rating at the end and tell you whether you should see it in theaters, wait to stream, or skip it altogether.
Yeah.
All right, let's get right into our initial thoughts. You can kick us off.
Initial thoughts. I went in, I think, with too high of expectations on this film. Like, I was through the roof, partly because you were just like, Dad, check this out. Look at these numbers. Look at these. I mean, the trailers looked phenomenal. The marketing around this was phenomenal. This was kind of like a 28 years later thing, you know, where it was just like, what is this? And then you go in, and although I did like 28 years, it was like it had to be really good to deliver. And I'm not saying it didn't, but it wasn't anything like I expected. I mean, I guess that could be good. It was creative, it was new, but it didn't quite live up to what I had kind of built up in my mind, is all I'll say. But it was good.
That's kind of the same thing for me. Like, I went in with very high expectations. This had a huge Rotten Tomatoes score, and it's kind of like a Sinners situation as well. Like, I think I liked Sinners. I think it was really good, but I don't think it was quite as good as it was being hyped up as. And I think this is the same thing. Now, I did not like 28 Years Later. So this was better than 28 Years Later for me. But I definitely think that the expectation might be a little bit too high. But I mean, it was good, really good in parts. It was really well made. And yeah,
and yet it continues to get. I mean, it continues, and it was. I'm not like, I don't want to take away from this. It continues to get this push of like, this is incredible, and it looks like it's going to have legs, like you were talking through with me. So yeah, so there it is. All right, well, let's dig into the.
Let's get into our Blockbuster Trio. All right,
here we go. You want me to kick it off?
Kick it off.
All right, the structure, the format of this, the way this story was told was really well done, very creative. You know, you get like characters and you get pieces coming in and out and overlapping things, and stuff starts getting revealed as you go along, and so it just kind of pulls you in. You're like, okay, what's going to happen next? You know, what am I going to get next? And it wasn't just a chronological story.
It wasn't linear,
at all. And I thought that the writing for that was really well done. Yeah.
So that was my number 2 for it, but I'll bring up to number 1 since you said it, is the different characters, kind of how they see what's happening and what's going on, and how it kind of, and you know, it doesn't hold your hand through it either. Like, kind of lets you figure it out on your own, and
very much so.
Yeah, it kind of just, it doesn't spoon feed you the information. It just kind of lets you solve it yourself, and it does a really good job of that. And so yeah, the different characters, how they perceive what's going on, and the way it was told, the format, it's just really
that point about not spoon feeding is probably like its own blockbuster piece. It's not on my list, but like the way you just highlighted that is something that's very difficult for writers to do and storytellers to do, is to not give too much, because you're trying to bring your audience along and you don't want to get lost along the way. So you overcompensate sometimes, and there's something to be said for like believing in the intelligence of your audience to be able to figure it out on their own, and give them just enough And then there's a lot of payoff with that as a viewer.
Yeah.
Like, I did the hard work of
Yeah.
figuring this out rather than them just giving it all to me. So, yeah, I think that is excellent. Second thing for me is character development. It's not really typical for these kind of films, I guess. Like, that's not a horror film, doesn't really get into the psyche of the character. I mean, some, but I just thought they did a really good job of letting the dialogue breathe, the emotions breathe. There was grief, there was anger, there's guilt. Yes, you have some of those in a horror film, but like this was a community that was going through a thing, and it was made out to be a true story, and I thought that the way they let the characters build out pulled you into that as if you were watching a true crime documentary kind of thing, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the second thing I had was the mystery itself. It's very interesting, and it does pull you in and make you want to know like what's going on. And it does that in the trailers, and it does it even more so in the movie, where it builds out a narrative and a storyline in this movie that is very interesting. That you're trying to figure out, that you want to know what's going on.
So
You did a good job of that.
yeah, and so I'll piggyback on that for 3. It's, I like the way they revealed the reveals. They kind of I kept finding myself as it went along, like, how are they going to pull this together? How is this all going to make sense? But as you get into the third act, as things kind of culminate, I thought, and I'll comment on the flip side of this because there's a few things I didn't, but like by and large, they really wrapped it up well. Like it's like, oh yeah, okay, that piece they counted for that, they counted for that, they compensated for that. Like it all made sense in the end.
Yeah,
So good job for that.
So the third thing I had was this film is very disturbing. Like, I wouldn't even say necessarily that it's scary. It's just very disturbing.
Yeah.
It's like stuff happens that you're just like, ugh. Like, it gets under your skin and just kind of, it stays with you.
Yeah, and the more I think about it, the more it has kind of, I'm like, oh yeah, no, yeah, it was really, yeah, that was creep factor. Yeah, like that had a lot going on there.
Good jump scares ish, and it just.
But yeah, I wouldn't consider it one of the scariest films I'd seen by any means. It was just, and I guess that's where I thought it was going. I thought I was going to get more of that.
It was almost more of a mystery thriller.
Yes.
Rather than a horror movie.
Yes, although there's some horrific elements to this film. So, all right.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the
cutting room floor.
All right, I'll kick this one off.
Okay.
I have one thing for this, and it is that it was a little bit slow in parts. I think that it's an over 2-hour movie, and I think it could have been like an hour and 45 minutes, hour and 50 minutes if they would have just shaved some of the time off and just, cut down on the slower parts. Because it did slow down at times, but it never like pulled me out of the story.
Right.
But it did move a little bit slow at times. So
Yeah.
I would pull that out.
Almost put that down. Didn't, but agree with you completely. The only other thing I'd say is there's a couple pieces. I talked about how they pulled it together well, but there were a couple pieces that left me scratching my head at the end. I'm not going to say them because I don't want to, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. But there were a couple pieces, like if you watch this film and you think back and you're like, okay, did this make sense? Did this make sense? I think there's space for, like, as we were talking through it, like, okay, yeah, this didn't quite button up. This didn't quite add up. And I feel like for as much as they brought together, they could have probably spent a little bit more time pulling those elements in to where this would have had everything clicking by the end. Like, yep, it all buttoned up. And it didn't quite, but that's fine. They
did an overall really good job.
Overall, they did a great job with it. It wasn't anything that I was, like, upset about or felt like it was just did an injustice to the film. But it was like, okay, that felt like an oversight. And, I say that, no, what they do is phenomenal. And what they did with this is phenomenal. But if I'm changing something, that's it. But
Yeah.
it was good. It was good. All right. So where are we at?
All right, let's move on
rate it.
to the rating. I gave this 8.5 forks.
We're going with forks.
Forks, if
You'll
you've seen
figure it out if you
Yeah.
when you see it. Oh, all right. Yeah, I'm doing 8. I got 8.5 on my sheet. I'll stick with that. 8.54. Is that what you did?
Forks, yeah, 8.5.
What?
Forks.
I landed on the same number. 8.5 forks.
Yep. I recommend that you see this in a theater.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I had weight.
Just the dark theater environment, I think, is just really good for this film.
I mean, yeah. Do it.
Try to see it with an audience too. I think we saw it and there wasn't a lot of people in the theater, and so I think if you saw it with more of an audience, it might be,
And don't be surprised if people run out of the theater. We had people, we did, and then people were like running out.
Yeah.
Like it was just, and we only had a few people in there. So I can imagine with a big crowd how chaotic that would have.
Yeah. Be freaky.
It's just a very memorable part of the story that will probably for years stick with
people
culture. All right, there it is.
All right, if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment down below what you guys thought of Weapons, if you've seen it, and we will see you guys next time.